welcome back. This is Steve narrating from Canada now. But just as a bit of a recap, this is what we've done so far. In our first sector, we went across to Berlin, and then the second sector, we dropped down to Austria there, and that's roughly our trip. And where we kind of left the story last time, we had just gone to qualifying. Here's a few pictures from the Spielberg Ring, where we enjoyed qualifying, but were just baked by the sun. There was absolutely no place to escape the heat of the sun. Hey there, we're just back from the Formula One race. So, if the motorcycling had kind of cooked us to medium rare, I think we're now medium well.
For sure.
We just went to qualifying today, well, to a bunch of other races too, and it was a great day, but you just can't escape the sun. It's just not possible, and the sun is hot. I don't know what it was, 33, 34 or something like that. And the twist is when we're riding the motorbikes, we get our full gear on, and that makes you extra hot because you're wearing that full gear. And so that kind of it's kind of like broils you. Today, we didn't have to wear a motorcycle gear, but as you can sort of see for me already, that meant the sun could hit our skin directly. And in Toronto, it's been rainy and cold almost all spring. We've had almost no sun. We come here and we've had nothing but 30 plus degrees. So at any rate, now I feel like we're just cooked. It's amazing how we push ourselves to our limits on these trips. It's going to be kind of nice to go home and live normal life again at some point. But without stinking helicopters overhead all the time. Well, they're not all the time, but sometimes. So at any rate, it was fun. We had a great time. Watched qualifying. It was a fantastic qualifying, except our guy ended up fifth. And we thought he was going to do, oh my goodness, we thought he was going to do better. So I'm going to shut up now because the helicopter, you probably can't hear me anyway. So peace out. We did intend to race. As you see, I'm wearing full jeans, which was hot, but I had to keep the sun off my legs, and we tried hard to keep ourselves totally covered, hats, glasses, and everything else, and we had a great time, and the race was really exciting. Max almost came back to one. It was a fantastic day, and I was so glad that I was actually able to make it. Our home and native land, true patriot. All right, so Susan and I are about ready to pull out a GP tents. It's been an interesting 3 days to go from living on a bike to living in a tent. Tent city, yes. I'll give you a sense of the tent city here.
And it goes on and on.
And it goes on and on. It gets a little old after 3 days. Similar meal, similar whatever, but
We're ready for a real bed.
It's been an interesting experience. The beautiful thing is the weather has broken. It's still going to be warm today, but I mean, we used to wake up to stinking hot, and it was stinking hot all day long, so it's actually quite nice. We had hoodies on last night.
Thunderstorm and rain last night.
Big thunderstorm and rain, and critically, Canada got through. Great, we got to watch that with everybody, sitting there and have a good time. So we're gonna hop back on our bikes. We're heading still within Austria. We're gonna end up in a place right on the western edge of Austria, and then jump into Switzerland and up through Luxembourg and Amsterdam when Canada will be playing again on the weekend. Silverstone on the weekend. We're gonna have a good time. We're looking forward to Amsterdam. So that's where we are.
And there's Silverstone this weekend.
Yeah, so here we are actually pulling out of Spielberg, and you see everything getting deconstructed from the race. Still a lot of campers left and right. It was amazing how many people were camping and how many different spots. And this is the front gates to the Red Bull Ring, going in right to the right there. Long walk to get there every day, and to come back uphill in the heat was really, really something. But yeah, goodbye Spielberg, and thank you. A very quick check-in from the road. We've had an amazing morning of riding. It is almost impossible to capture how fantastic the riding was in Austria. I mean, in Europe in general, but in Austria, my goodness. We'd have these beautiful curvy roads, mountains around all the time. come into these kind of interesting little towns like you see now. You just never knew what was around the corner, and everything that was around the corner was kind of cool. The roads, again, when we're out of the towns, we'd go anywhere from these, big sweeping curves with panoramic views around you like you see here. Beautiful highways, pretty fast moving. We're cruising around probably at about 80, 90 clicks here. And of course, one of the things I always enjoy is tunnels. So we'll have one coming up here. You have quite a few of these tunnels where you're going through mountains rather than over them. So some of them were pretty long. And for me, my favorite part of every tunnel, and I'll kind of overdo it in the next few clips here, but is this part right now where you got this bright light and you come out of the tunnel and you don't know what you're going to see, and then you have some fantastic scenery. So I took more of these videos than I should have, and I won't totally go overboard, but I'll go a little overboard here. Here's a second one. Look at the bright light. I love that bright light that just takes shape into something else. Beautiful mountains, beautiful scenery, and one more just for fun. Nice roundly shaded stuff. So we had those going through the day, but mostly we just had this, fantastic riding in the mountains. Hot, but not quite as hot as it had been. So quite nice. And again, you got these smooth curves all through this beautiful scenery. And occasionally these little towns and these little bits of Austrian architecture and their sort of way of life, which feels really different. And yeah, just wanted to highlight for a moment there, just how amazing the riding was that morning, because it was really, really fantastic. About mid-morning, actually, Sue's found this fantastic little cafe to stop at along the way. It was just this beautiful, picturesque place. Here's a picture of the cafe coming up there. And Sue's sitting there, and you notice our big pastry in the middle. This will be a chance for coffee, pastry, some juice, and of course water. I wanted to give you a sense of this place because, sometimes this was the real magic, right? We just pull off the country road to come for some coffee, and you go into this little town built into the mountains. And again, these things are all so freaking beautiful in Austria, and hard to describe in words. And so sometimes just showing the picture seems to be the way to go. So yeah, I'll let you just enjoy this town a little bit. Obviously all the Austrian style buildings, but then go around a little corner here, through a bunch of other cool buildings, like little narrow streets that go through cool things like this. You see Sue up ahead there dropping down into this sort of beautiful, beautiful, picturesque valley. Just truly amazing. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get back to what was happening just after lunchtime. But after not seeing a cloud for 2 weeks, clouds came yesterday, big rain last night. Cloud and sun today. It's hot when it's sunny. It's not bad when it's not. But we just found out that there's some rain coming. You can see the clouds over us. So we're boogieing. We had a great lunch at Maxi restaurant. And we are boogieing to try to get the last 80 some K in before the rain gets us. Let's see if we can do it. Peace sign, Suze. There we go. Hey, thought I'd try something a little different. Use my GoPro as a selfie cam. So here we are in, oh shoot, I forget. Kufstein. I'll clarify. And check out this cool place behind me. Give you a bit of a look around, mountains. Check out those clouds up there. We're trying to beat the rain. We beat the rain. As we came and parked here behind the place, we heard thunder. So we didn't beat the rain by much. But I just wanted to do this little video. I left my helmet on the bike, so I had to go back and get it. And just got this on it, so talking to my helmet, people will think I'm really weird. But how little planning we do. Literally, as it was getting near the end of the Formula One, we're like, okay, we got to figure out our next step. And we kind of do it a step at a time. And we wanted to be about 300K away. So we start looking at the route that we imagine all the way to Amsterdam, and then we look for hotels that are about 300K in this case along that route, and we just look for a town. And well, we look for a good price. In this case, we found a hotel that has air conditioning as well, and although things are supposed to be getting real better, it was still hot today, off and on, not as hot as it was. So we ended up in this town. This town's famous for this thing, that fortress up there. Told us we could just walk to it from the hotel. Never heard of it before. Sounded cool. It is cool. Alright. Speaking of where are you? Where are we?
Oh, where are we? We're in
Kufstein, Austria. Kufstein, Austria. We don't know. But it's actually nice. We're walking around. We got into our hotel and there was like a... Oh yeah.
I think we were.
It was raining.
Town.
It was raining, and so, but they had the things set up while they were trying to watch the football game outside.
Japan and Brazil.
And even though it was raining, they had all these umbrellas. And so we went and sat there. Oh, I lost it. We went and sat there thinking, hey, this looks like a cool atmosphere to. And then it rained harder, and then harder, and then this lightning strike came. This lightning strike came, and everybody was like, it was like really close. And so anyway, everyone went inside, escaped the football game. And so the sort of funny part of this story is while we were in this is our hotel. We couldn't read the menu much. This is like really German place, and everything's just written pure German. So we're trying to figure it out, and we figure out we're not that hungry because we had a great lunch. So we ended up saying we'd each have a tomato soup. We could figure that out. And then there was something that I thought was a 4-cheese tray or something like that. And it was under the vegetarian-ish part. And so she comes over with these bowls, and okay, here's our soup. But then she puts our bowls down, and they've got this chunk of breaded.
Well, it looks breaded.
Looks breaded. It was kind of, yeah, I don't know. Ball of something. Yeah. and we're like, I don't think we ordered this. She's like, Suzupa, tomato soup. And we're like, okay. And then she has a decanter of hot soup, and she pours the soup over the ball of, which was what, sort of a breaded something.
Yeah, it had bread and carrot and
it was good.
It went all the way.
It was good.
It was good.
Yeah. So kind of funny. So we enjoyed our soup. It was pretty tasty. And then our 4-cheese tray came, which was not a 4-cheese tray at all. It was a 4-cheese pasta. Of some sort. But anyway, it was a fun night. It was good.
Salad.
And now, I mean, after the rain, it feels pretty nice out. It's a nice, I'd say, what would you say, 20 degrees, 20, something like that. And of course, everything's a little wet. There's still a little bit of a drizzle coming down, but this is the most, I don't know, just a very comfortable night. So Susan and I are just walking this old town,
It's the
checking
first
things
time
out.
our body core hasn't been at a
Yeah.
very hot level
Yeah, we feel
for a
comfortable.
week.
In our
Wow.
room, the other silly thing is we paid 30 extra euros for a room with air conditioning. It's got air conditioning. It air conditions the little hall outside the bathroom very well. Very little of it reaches the bedroom, but it turns out it might not matter anyway because we can probably just open the windows when we go back. And it'll be fine. So yeah, having a fun night in this random town that we came across just because it happened to be the right distance from where we were and where we want to go.
How many kilometers we need to make every day?
And that's what we do. So anyway, let's shut this one down here.
Cheers.
So Suze has been nailing it finding the morning stop cafes. I took a little video of us kind of coming up to this one to show you how cool that ride was. Like, look at the view. Mountains in the background. Well, small mountain in the front. You're gonna sneeze, aren't you? Suze has been having fun with allergies. Hay
They
fever.
don't cut hay in June in Canada.
Oh my goodness, they're cutting
Don't
hay
expect it.
everywhere. So anyway, quick little update. The ride this morning, I was hoping for a lot.
It was so
beautiful.
cool. We were going through mountains
It was
constantly.
absolutely beautiful, but it was really the valley, and it turned out it was town after town after town after town. So it was kind of like urban riding in a gorgeous, beautiful, interesting location. It's still urban riding, and after a while, it's getting a little like, ah. But the good news is we hit some big town, which wasn't Innsbruck. Innsbruck's still ahead, I think. I don't know. I saw signs that we were so far. Anyway, we'll see. We don't know where we are half the time, so who knows?
It's telling you to go there, but
We'll see. But whatever this city was, that was painful to get through. But once we got through it, things got better. Got some good riding in again. You know, not crazy good riding, but at least we were able to go. And we had some curves, and we were snuggled up the mountain with the water beside us.
we're right beside the mountain. Rocks.
Yeah, rocks. Well, yeah.
Makes you feel tiny.
Yeah, it was good, and it's been kind of good since. So hopefully this is going to be great. There's one thing Sue said last night. I don't think we got it on video that I want her to say again, and I'm going to tie this back to when I read Isaac Asimov. He talked about going to another planet, and when you go to a planet, he said every planet has its own smell.
Oh,
That nobody on the planet knows the smell because it's just what air smells like to them. But a traveler would come and smell, and they would know the smell of every planet. Well, last night Sue said Austria.
What's the smell of Austria?
What's the smell of Austria? I didn't know what she meant at first, but I was reminded this morning as we kept smelling the smell of Austria again, which is
manure.
manure.
Basically, your cow.
Manure. I mean, all these country roads we're taking
Yeah.
is through the agricultural area. So there's manure trucks ahead of us.
We smelled it a lot more than we've seen it because we've seen cows, but no it is.
I think forever for us, when we smell manure, we will remember Austria. So, at any rate, things are going well. We just booked our hotel in St. Gallen. That sets us up pretty well to get back to
So
Amsterdam.
that's in Switzerland.
Yeah,
Right.
so it'll be first night and only night in Switzerland. I think we'll be in Luxembourg the next one. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it feels like we're doing that home stretch. Things are looking okay. The only thing in the back of my mind, and I think Sue's is like, as long as everything goes reasonably good, we're fine. One day full of thunderstorms or something like that is
Which are expected where we're going, severe by
Today they
4
say
o'clock,
thunderstorms, but it looks
hopefully we should
pretty
be good by
good
then.
so far. But yeah, so things are looking good, but we're a little wary, and so we'll see. Anyway, that's our morning update.
Cheers.
Yeah, so here we are, just pulling out of that cafe, and again, I don't know, just like to sometimes show these little bits, because this is where you get to see, a little bit more of the kind of housing that's around and the whole feel of the streets. Sometimes being kind of wide like this with the big views ahead of you, and we're actually going downhill here. You can't really feel it as much, but we're dropping down from the elevation we were at, and then you come like through these little tiny streets between houses like this, which are all very cool. And you kind of get a sense of how people live too, a little bit more, which is why we like all these back roads and little villages. And after that, once we got onto the roads proper, Again, some great riding, just give you a taste of some of the different feels. It was all really good before lunch. You see beautiful sunshine, cool little roads, fantastic scenery all around. Just a really, really good ride. And then we stopped for lunch, and well, that's when things changed. So we stopped for lunch, and as we're coming out, the rain is gone. It's long into the trip. First rain, don't really complain. But yeah, it's gonna be a quick one. So by the way, Sue and I aren't really bothered by rain. We've ridden in quite a bit of rain, and we know how to do it well. It's just all about smoothness, smooth acceleration, smooth braking, smooth cornering. Trying not to put too much force, lateral or vertical, on the bike to make it slide. And we've done it many times. You also, of course, want to stay away from the stripes. But what we haven't done many times is ride in really complex riding conditions. And here we go. I did not know what was coming here. What was coming was a whole whack of switchbacks. And notice that I'm already getting a little too close to the line right there. I shouldn't be that close to the line because the paint with the wet really can really slip you out. And so, yeah, much to my surprise, I mean, this is gorgeous when you look at the mountains and you look at the rain, but it was like, oh my goodness, what we've run into. Just switchback. So, I mean, some of them are just sort of gentle curves like this, but as you'll see, these gentle curves are mixed with much more extreme curves. Now, here's the funny part here. I'm literally holding my breath as we're going through this stuff. Not literally, but I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the roads are wet, there's a little bit of standing water, and there's curves, and we're at altitude here, and Susan's cruising away up ahead of me. Now, she's got a lighter bike, a lower center of gravity. My bike's a little heavier, higher center of gravity, and I'm heavier, so there's more mass, so it's easier for my bike to potentially slip on one of these. And so I was literally going, oh my goodness, we're not just riding in the rain, we're riding a ridiculously complex part of road here. And I was trying everything I could to make sure I was being as smooth as I could with the bike as we went around some of these corners. So, in my opinion, this is the most complex piece of riding we have done in our career coming through this. It's also absolutely beautiful when you look at all this. But for me, it wasn't ending. So as we were going through this, I'm like, okay, this is really amazing. I'm loving it. Here again, getting way too close to that white line. I should not be on that white line. That's me watching it going. But it didn't stop. And every time we went down, and I couldn't see ahead. I didn't know how many of these there were. And every time we went around with these, I'm like, okay, made it through another one. And now look, Susan's gone. She's going much more quickly than I'm willing to go here. Just didn't feel comfortable on my bike to push the speed anymore. Felt like I might lose grip around, especially corners like this, which were these hairpins. And yeah, I mean, I kind of have to let this run out to give you a sense, because as we were getting maybe somewhere around here, I was starting to get the sense like, ooh, we made it. And the funny thing for me is when I started to get that sense, and maybe I didn't have that sense right now because this is still going. But when I did get that sense, I got downright giddy after this. It felt like, whew, we made it. Oh my goodness, we made it. I was just filled with this like boy, oh boy. And so the funny part of this is down the road a ways, eventually, I don't know if I have it on tape, we'll see, but we stop and I talk to Sue, and the first thing Sue says to me is, why were you falling so far behind? It was like she was not finding this challenging at all, and I was finding it crazy challenging. So yeah, here we are, we're out of it, and this is when I'm feeling, woo, that was freaking amazing. Okay, so we stopped for lunch, or not stopped for lunch, stopped for gas, kind of shook ourselves off after that crazy ride through the rain, and then got back on the bikes. And when we did, we knew we were pretty close to Switzerland. The weather was getting better. You see, there's still a little bit of rain here, but more or less backing off a little bit. The roads are still a little wet, but not too bad. And of course, everything is still really beautiful. Again, a little later in the day, a little drier still. Not really dry patches on the road, but getting there. Beautiful clouds in the mountains, everything's great. Now, there's one thing bugging me at this point. When we did our destination, it wasn't that far, but it was going to take us a lot of time to get there. And so there was something that was going to slow us up. And I had this feeling back to before we went to Austria, we had to cross a city, and it took us an hour to get like 10 kilometers. Here we are coming to Switzerland. And I thought, okay, it's going to be something like that, something, that's really going to take all of our time. And so not long after getting into Switzerland, we come to a city here. And I always love seeing these cities, and first city in a new country, kind of checking it out. But again, what I was assuming is we're going to have to cross some urban area, and it's going to take us forever, because I knew we only had like 50K, but it was going to take us an hour or more to do. What would take so long? Well, not long after that, I got the answer, and the answer was a little different than I expected, and much, much cooler. We're in the home stretch, we're kind of heading back to our hotel, and we start on this road that just blows our mind. Like, welcome to Switzerland, my friends. At first, seems innocent enough. We see a little bit of sun coming through too, which is nice, although the roads are still damp, which is kind of a drag because we're going to have a lot of twisties here. But I start to see a great view over there. Like, this is fantastic. We're rising in altitude. It's going to get more and more picturesque. Everything looks beautiful. And this road just does not stop giving. So it's corner after corner. It's these beautiful views, as you see. I think we're going to probably switch back and climb up again here. And so we kept doing switchbacks. We kept going higher. We kept getting better views. And this was literally our introduction to Switzerland, and it just went on and on and on like this, which is why it was slow, because you can only go so fast through a set of switchbacks like this. But they were just freaking amazing, and this isn't capturing it like it was when we were there. We were just blown away by this road. Yeah, very cool. Morning from good morning. Switzerland. It's going to be a quick trip to Switzerland, but it's already blown our minds. We're not going to talk a lot about the trip yesterday because it was just, we had everything, and I'll just let narrator Steve walk you through the videos and do it. But just some highlights on today, really. The one tricky thing is last night, thunder showers were coming in, and it was looking like it was going to be thunder showers all day. In fact, we didn't know what time we were going to be able to get out of here, but we got up pretty early, and we've looked at the radar, weather radar,
Satellite.
Yeah, and it looks like the main band has gone through. There's another secondary band, but looks like there may be a window. So we're going to go on our way to Saverne, France. We didn't know France was even on the possibility docket, but as we plan things out, this is a good stop for us today. It's about 250, 260, something like that away. So we booked a hotel, heading to Saverne, France. And the only trick is we're gonna have to keep an ear out because if thunderstorms come, then we're gonna have to take shelter during the thunderstorms. But once we get past that second cell, it's looking good. You may notice we're wearing our longer underwear under our thing. We've gone from 37 degrees to, what's the high today? Maybe 20 some. But with the rain, this will keep us nice and warm. Oh, I guess he's coming. Nope, not quite. Not too. So
allergies.
yeah, lots of allergies for Suze. So that's the basic update. This was a neat little hotel. We had fun sort of walking around the town a little bit last night, had dinner. I had a full pizza almost to myself at 9 at night, which may explain why I yet again did not sleep very well.
And some of my caprese salad.
And some of her caprese salad. So one of our goals today is to see if we could maybe have supper by 6. We'll see if that works. But yeah, I'm looking forward to riding through Switzerland and coming into France. So that's our update for the morning.
Cheers.
Alright, so coming out of St. Gallen, we seem to have taken a wrong turn. I think Suze is trying to find a shortcut back. And thought we were going to go to the car wash in a second. So we've had this little tour of St. Gallen. This is the St. Gallen most people never see. Only on our exclusive tours you get sort of quick report from the road while Suze does some texting. The report is, there's not much to report. We've been coming out of Switzerland, went through a bunch of rain, not a bunch of rain, a little bit of light rain, but it just sort of hung on for a while. But we got through. Weather's cool, if anything. We're glad to have our gear on, and turns out we're in Germany now. We did a little rest stop. What do we got left?
163.
163. So a good first stint, like over 100K basically over the day gone. I don't even know what time it is.
125. Oh, we should be eating.
125? It's not 125. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we'll check that out. So, all going well. That's about all we got to report. Peace out. So what I often say on these trips is you just don't know what's going to unfold in the given day, what sort of drama you may run into, etc. And like the day before with the twisties going down in the rain and then the twisties going up to Switzerland. This day had seemed relatively dramaless, but I want to set the stage for the drama that you're about to see coming up, which is, we were tired. We hadn't been sleeping very well, and this was actually a pretty long day. We were trying to do a long stint here because we have to be in Amsterdam by a certain time. And so we came across this bit of road that was really sort of curvy and is the kind of road where, I've seen Suze really dig in before and kind of carve the corners a little bit. And I noticed that she wasn't really doing that. She was riding more cautiously than usual, and that just told me she's probably tired, and I was tired. We had done a very long stint since lunch, and no, we hadn't had lunch. Yeah, we hadn't had lunch. Remember, I said before it was like 1:25, so it was probably like 3 in the afternoon. We hadn't eaten. We'd been riding really along. We hadn't been sleeping all that well. And again, with that as a backdrop, when I was kind of, watching as we were riding here, feeling my own weariness, I was thinking, hey, I think Sue's looking a little tired. With that in mind, we came across this town, and I was thinking, we have to stop. We have to stop to eat, please. We need to stop. We're getting really, really tired here. And Suze was obviously feeling the same way. And so one of the first things, we're coming downhill. She sees this parking lot with the umbrellas. She sees a place to pull in, but it's a rocky road. It's off level. She's tired. She loses a bit of balance, and she goes down. So I don't usually get those things on tape. So first thing, by the way, watch this guy come running out to help. He's fantastic. This guy from the store. And so the first thing I want to say is it's embarrassing as heck to drop your bike, and I've done it multiple times. Sue's done it a couple times. If you've never dropped your bike, you are not outside your comfort zone. You are riding within a very safe way. If you ride like we do, tired, long strips, going to strange places, and notice the cobblestone, notice that it was off center there. These things happen. They just do. And so, yep, that was that. That was kind of a drag. And, it certainly told us it's time to stop here for lunch. Yeah, so you learn and grow in anything by putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. And, again, I think um, this was just one of those examples where we were pushing ourselves hard. Something was going to happen sooner or later to one of us pushing ourselves, and it just happened to be Sue's. But it was just as well as you saw. She set it down very lightly, took a bit of a fall herself, but she was feeling okay. We had a quick little lunch in this really kind of cool little town. So you're adjusting our mirrors and stuff, getting the bike back in place a little bit. There was no damage done to the bike at all. So everything was cool. We were off again, and thinking that okay, we've dealt with the drama that the day will give us. Right? Shortly. Shortly. Hmm. Hey, mini report from the road. Despite our attempt to avoid highways, I think fate stepped in. I mean, we're in Germany, and one thing led to another, and we ended up on the Autobahn for a little while. And the Autobahn's mythical, right? So luckily we had talked to people better, and I think we're handling it pretty well. The only idea is if you get in the left lane, do your thing and get the heck out of the left lane, and that's what we're doing. So we had a little rest stop, a little pee break on a day with fun stuff going on. So at any rate. Alrighty, so yeah, we had that little drop just before lunch. Then we ended up on the Audubon, did that, and that was a little crazy. And then something else happened, and I don't really have. I mean, I'm just showing you a little bit of video of the streets we were riding, what it was like, and we were somewhere around here, a street like this, heading to a place called Severn. We were about an hour maybe away. And that's when something happened. So, literally, again, I didn't take any video. I don't have any pictures, but I did use AI to generate a little image. So what happened next was a real bummer. In fact, it was the first time either Sue or I have been in an accident per se, and unfortunately, it was Sue. We were going down a street, not a street like this, a more residential street. And let me bring this up here for you. Look at this number one here. We were coming behind an SUV, and it really looked like that SUV was going to pull behind that white car. And so Sue started turning left, which is where we were going to turn, but at the very last minute, that SUV also turned left without a blinker, without a signal. And Sue was already looking up the road, and the driver of the SUV was also looking up the road. And in fact, turns out it was like her husband was up the road, and I think she must have just saw that he would turn there, and so she quickly turned. And the two of them came together, as shown in the third one. So there wasn't high speed, luckily. It was a nice slow speed because they were both just coming into the intersection. But they did hit on the right side, so Sue hit the vehicle and then fell down on the left side. Again, luckily it was slow. Sue was not hurt at all, but there was damage to the motorcycle. It turned out to be significant damage. Of course, once you go back to the shop, they find everything. There was damage to the vehicle. And of course, both Sue and the woman who was driving the vehicle were very shaken up. So that was kind of a bummer on this part of the trip. Update from the road. Suze and I are tired, frustrated, and 3.7K
Here we go.
from our destination. So anyway, we talked to those people and we just kind of decided to we'd let them know what the bill was, and they said they'd help us pay. We'll see. But we went ahead to Zavern, which was an interesting, real town, and we had a good night out. Just tried to shake it all off, and had a dinner of French fries and salad because that's what they had that was vegetarian friendly, and just explored the town a little bit. Yeah, we were kind of caught by we were looking at some of the graffiti and things like that, and yeah, we ended up having a really good night out. By the way, when I went to the hotel, it turns out the hotel I booked, I hadn't completed the booking. Luckily, they had a last-minute cancellation, which was good because we were exhausted and it had been a dramatic day. So yeah, we ended up having a good evening in Saverne, France. They let us park our bikes behind the hotel there, and we were ready to go from there. Oh yeah, weird. Ask about the egg. Say when. Okay, so just a little tip from the road. This is courtesy of Suze, who came up with this technique. These are climb gloves, no matter how great the glove, and these are great gloves, leather gloves. We've been putting them through 36 degrees, our hands have been sweaty, and as we pull out, so does the liner, and then things get really hard to put on. Suze came up with this technique we now call penning the gloves. Should this happen to you, before you try to put it on your hand, use a pen to kind of get each of those little pockets into their right hole. And if you do that for all 5, then it's much, much easier to get the glove on than to try to do it with your sweaty hands. That's pinning the gloves, new verb. Got our bikes loaded up for our trip to Luxembourg, where we hope to have lunch. And then we got an Airbnb not too much further down the road, but another 60K, sort of in the north part of Luxembourg, which will set us up for Netherlands the next day. So I'm happy to report I got a fantastic night's sleep. Susan and I had a fun night out in the city, just kind of having dinner and walking around, and we're getting close. A few more days. Right there.
2.5, 3.
Here's our bikes, by the way. We're gonna load it up. Okay. Hey there. We're somewhere in what's the name of this country?
Oh, we're in Luxembourg.
Luxembourg. Where are we in Luxembourg?
I know that we're in Luxembourg. We're in. Oh, damn, where are we?
So last night we were at a restaurant and she asked the waiter, like, where are we? And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, what city are we in? And he tells her. And I remember that was Saverne, France. I remember that.
No, that's not where we are.
That's not where we are now. So then we went to Luxembourg and we went to, we typed it in a couple times to Google Maps and stuff. So I found this hotel through
Clairvaux.
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 Clairvaux. CLERVEOU.
AUX.
Vaux meaning old. Anyway,
AUX.
so this is it's an interesting. So I just booked it as an Airbnb. Turns out it's a hotel. In fact, a number of hotels in this complex that are all around this. I'm not exactly sure what that is. So there's a chateau, which you may hear the bell ringing.
Church bells ringing. That's
and then there's this thing,
bells.
which is some sort of fortress or something that apparently played strongly in the Battle of the Bulge and
in World War II.
Yeah, during World War II. There's World War II stuff around here, and there's a bunch of cafes around it, and there was like this twisty corkscrew road to come into it, which was crazy. So anyway, great day. We're only 2 more days after today, and we've reached the point. We reached the point solidly yesterday where we're just looking forward to getting done. Now that said, it was an interesting day of riding in a couple of ways. A little bit of drama. There's always a little bit of drama, but when we came in to Luxembourg, in the southwest part, we're in the country roads, and honestly, this felt like the most old part of Europe we'd seen. It felt I don't want to say ancient, but like some of the houses and stuff looked like they've been here for ever, and it was like the opposite of France. Coming from France with all the ornate stuff and all the paintings and intricate detail, these were like, I don't even know what they were made of. What do you think of some of those houses? It's like a clay, but not a clay, but
not sure.
some sort of, but not really stone, and it looks like it's been there forever. No paint.
It's a lot of stone houses, so a lot of stone.
Yeah, stonish. Yeah. Yeah, and it just felt like we were going through all these ancient villages, and we'd go from an ancient village, and we'd kind of go through this, what it had become, and they would all be interesting, and they would have different churches or whatever as part of it. And then we'd go down these country roads, and these country roads would be winding sometimes. They would be through wheat. We've been through the goldest wheat. I think it felt more like the prairies sometimes today than it did when, or at least my conception of the prairies, than it did when we actually went through the prairies.
And a few giant fields of sunflowers. Giant.
Was the sunflowers today?
Oh, absolutely
Was it today? Maybe it was today.
It was this afternoon,
It
as a matter
was.
of fact.
Some of these areas were downright magical, absolutely. And for a long time we were riding, and it was just, it was just like, wow. And the weather was nice, not too hot, feeling good, sunny for the most part, occasional clouds, which was nice. So we're having a great time. And then at some point we knew we were lowish on gas, and so Sue pulls into a gas station. I pull in right behind her, but we also knew we would prefer one with washroom facilities. Not that we had to pee.
And it didn't have the gas that we have been using all along through Europe. They didn't have the same classes.
Yeah, and we like to make our stops economical. So when we stop for gas, we like to
get a lot of
hit a washroom
and
and etc. Because it's going to be hours or more before you do it again. And so anyway, this one didn't have that. It was just like a guy had gas as part of another garage business or something. And so when we pulled in, we said, "Do we want to get gas?" And Sue says, "Well, I have a couple of bars left." So there's 6, so she was about a third, a tank, and I had like 3 or 4. My bars go to like 16 or something. And so we said, let's go a little further down the road. Let's find a place that has a convenience store or a garage or something like that, and a washroom. So off we went. Through beautiful country roads, through mystical towns, through beautiful country roads, and mystical towns, and country roads, and mystical towns, on and on and on and on. And then at some point I'm looking at my gas gauge and I'm going, oh, so my gas light was on. I was down to like...
Which we rarely ever let our gas lights get on.
I was way down to less than 8. There was sort of 2 bars on mine, and I'm like, okay, and well, there's another town. There'll be gas in the next town. We go through the town. There's no gas. We're back out in the country and I'm watching, and I go down to 1 bar, and I've been at 1 bar for a while, and like Sue with her GPS, she can prioritize things. She can say, get me to the closest gas station. But I didn't know if she'd done that. I didn't know. So anyway, I made some noise. I got her to pull over, and I said,
Made some noise.
You got a little button. So anyway, I laid on the button, pulled up right beside her, laid on the button, and I said, we have to prioritize gas.
I pulled off.
Yeah. I said, we have to prioritize gas because we're going to end up in one of these fields like with no gas. And she knew we were low on gas, and she'd been tracking it, and she said, well, there's 1-3 ahead. And then
I said, you okay for 12?
Yeah, you okay for 12? And I'm like, I think I'm okay for 12. And so then we're going, and that 12 kilometers can feel like a long time when you're just waiting for your bike to run out of gas, I tell you. And I was literally, every time there's a downhill, I would just grab the clutch and coast down every downhill, and use brakes if I had to slow down. I was not using the engine anytime I didn't have to use it. And this went on and on and on, and I was sure we were toast. And then at some point, she tells me, we're going to go left here. There's a gas station. She kind of signals that. So I'm like, okay, I think we can make it. So we go across a bridge into this other ancient town where like 2 cars can't even pass each other on the roads. What was it called?
Windy.
Spring or something? Spring. Or anyway.
Odyssey? Oh, I don't know.
We looked it up at one point. You told me what it was. Nice belt, huh?
I knew the name of the gas station. I don't think I knew the name of the street.
No, you said it to me somewhere. But anyway, so we're going up the street, blah, 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 and I can see the gas station. I can see the top of it. I'm like, we're at the gas station. And as we get to the gas station, they have tape around everything. It's like you can't get gas there.
It's like a crime scene.
And I pull over, and I'm like, I'm in a daze. I turn my bike off. I'm like, we needed this gas station. And then Sue looks around a little bit. She's like, okay, no, there's one just up the road. And so we go back up in the road, up a hill. And I'm like, I don't think my bike can go up a hill. It's going to run out of gas. Up a hill, and then we see the next gas station, and it's working. And I just felt so giddy happy because that was the drama of the day. That really was. Very quick update from the road. The gas station, as a matter of fact, there are times when you're riding when there's nothing as beautiful as an open gas station. We've been riding, we stopped at a gas station and we had a little bit of fuel left, and up until then the towns have been relatively normal, and we thought, no, let's wait a little more. So we got one with a washroom and such. And then we started through these backcountry roads of Luxembourg and these really interesting ancient towns. But we went on and on and on and on, and there was no freaking gas station. Light went on. I was down to the lowest bar for a while. I was coasting down hills. Susan was tracking down gas stations in her GPS. And then we got to the one finally, and I was like, and it was all closed. And I'm like, oh my God, we're dead. And she's like, no, it's just up the road. And so we're here. My goodness. I feel good. I feel good. I had a peace sign soon. And we got gas, and it had a washroom, and yeah, everything was good. And then we got some Chinese food there down the road in that place. Which was good.
Yeah. That's exactly what we wanted.
And then rode back, and most of that ride was fine too. It just starts to feel long. We know we have to be back for the flight, and so we figured stuff out. We pretty much had to do 250K days, which is about 5 hours in the saddle, the way we do it. That's a long day.
So slow going
it's
through
a long
these
day.
Small little towns, but it's cool too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly. It is cool,
Yeah,
and the roads of the
cool.
country road, everything's cool. But you take 5 hours in this.
Butt.
Yeah, see, that's a 5 hours now. You do the 5 hours in the saddle, and you add the cafe time, and you add the lunch time. Then we launch at 10, and we get wherever at 5 or 6, and we're exhausted, and then we have a beer, and we have some food, and here we are, chatting with you. So at any rate, long story short, it was a good day today. We're looking ahead to tomorrow. We now literally have 2 stops. We've already booked stuff in Amsterdam. Amsterdam's going to be the Canada game on Saturday. It's going to be Silverstone Formula 1 on Sunday. We're finding places in Amsterdam.
Plus, we'll be qualifying on Saturday.
And we're going to be able to watch some of this in pubs in Amsterdam, which is great.
Not in pubs in the squares. There's two big places. We're in Rembrandtplein and Leidseplein.
Leidseplein. So we've been to Leidseplein before, and so they have a bunch of screens set up to watch F1. So we
and
just
fans
found that
gather. It should be really cool. Might even be cool. Well, not cooler than the Formula One race was. But
well, cooler just because
a different atmosphere.
I now think when I think of the Formula One race, that nasty thing about kids like frying ants with their magnifying glass.
Oh, Jesus.
I felt like we were the ants, man. At that Formula One, we were the ants, and so it was a great Formula One. The qualifying was great. The race was fantastic. If I haven't said that on video, it was really good. Max came from 5th to 2nd. It looked like he might get first. It was a fantastic race, but we got fried. I felt the punishment of that I couldn't sleep because my back was so burnt, itchy. Anyway.
Because why?
Because I was trying to protect my knees.
That's
which I
not
knew
why
were
you took your
red.
shirt off. You didn't even
was
have
part
it
of
your knees for
I did.
a while.
Well, not for
you
a while.
didn't know.
Yeah, when I saw anyway. So I had taken my shirt off. I don't get to take my shirt off, and people were doing that. I'm like, woohoo! But it just our spring in Toronto was so cold and wet that I've never had my shirt off. So I hadn't had any sun. So I went from absolutely no sun to having a magnifying glass frying me. And so anyway, yeah, I got fried. All this to say, there's another Formula One this weekend, and now the weather has changed. It's going to be 12 degrees when we wake up tomorrow. It's going up to 22. Looks similar for the next night. So we've gone from like waking up at 32 and going to 38 or whatever to 12.
Back to long underwear.
Yeah, and by the way, it's an interesting thing. I'm going to show you our gear that we have, because part of the challenge of this for 3 weeks is
my butt.
Is your butt. You want to stand up? We can talk standing up. Except that when our height difference. No, but I can go down 2 steps. Watch. This will be good. Okay. Now you can stand up.
I can.
Oh my God.
No, I'm taller than you are.
There. Okay, that's better. So the point that I just want to make was when you have 3 weeks,
you can only take what you can carry on a motorbike, but you have to plan for, like, what are you going to do when it's 38 degrees?
Yeah.
What are you going to do when it's 12 degrees? Like, we have hoodies on now. Canada. We were joking when it was 38 about, hey, we actually wore hoodies in
Why
Amsterdam.
did we bring these?
And now we're back in hoodies and talking about long underwear under our gear tomorrow. So anyway,
Well, luckily we brought those things.
I'll
because,
just show you our gear. You've seen it packed up, but I just know that orange bag contains 2 things of Sue's clothes, plus some shoes, plus some various bits and pieces of electronic stuff.
Backup power.
The black bag is all my clothes. The backpack is like the laptop and some hoodies. Our 2 hoodies. And that's pretty.
You may wear them tomorrow.
And the black backpack is Sue's purse and other little stuff.
Headphones. And...
That's what we're living on as we go through. And anyway, it's amazing that the temperature changed this much. But it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a good weekend. It's gonna be good rides, and we're looking forward to being home for sure.
Hey, quick video for the road. We are back in the Netherlands. In fact, we're in Limburg province, which is where my dad grew up. I'm not sure if Lichterode or where Mom was. I'm not sure if it's in Limburg. It's probably not.
No.
But very familiar. I stayed in this area roughly when I was 17 for 4 months, and just feels great. We had a restaurant. You can just see Sue's leftovers here. Fantastic bowl. They had some sort of Buddha bowl. Soul bowl. And we're in the home stretch. We got less than 100.
78.
78
for
to go
today.
To go to our hotel tonight, and then from there it's Amsterdam tomorrow. So it's cool to be back in the Netherlands. Cool to be kind of so close to accomplishing what was again another absolutely crazy idea. So all very nice. Things are going well. Which, by the way, has changed night and day. You see me sitting in the sun right now, but it's not hot. It's 22 degrees, something like that. Beautiful riding. Really nice day. Sun and cloud coming and going. And it's supposed to be this way for the rest of our trip here. It's going to be 20s, low 20s. So that heat has broken, and things are looking good. So yeah, report from the road, everything's good.
Cheers.
Yeah, just a couple of videos to try to capture Holland a little bit. So, yes, Holland's flat. Yes, the roads are very straight. That doesn't mean it's not beautiful. We kept going through. First of all, look how small the roads are. You can fit a motorbike in a car. Fine. 2 cars have to do a little bit of a limbo, and of course there's a bike lane there too. But often the traffic was very light, as you see here, and we would just find ourselves, riding through these tunnels of trees, and we did it over and over and over again in different parts of Holland, and I don't know, just kind of magical. And then you'd go from this sort of road, and before long you would find yourself coming into a town, and you'd never quite know what that town was going to be like. For example, here's one where just a small little town, but that's the center of the town. That's where everyone has a beer at the end of the day, probably because their houses are hot, because of the lack of air conditioning. And then you just kind of see this little town laid out to you, which is, again, just sort of, I don't know, just prototypical Dutch. It just has that, has the look of a Dutch farming town. So, yeah. Very cool. Really enjoyed riding through Holland. Okay, now in putting this together, the next step was we stayed in a place called Mill, and I only have this one image of from here. There it is. Yeah. Oh well.
58K.
58K. So we find ourselves on a ferry. Kessel Ferry in Limburg to get across this river. You get a sense of Dutch ferry. Oops.
Gotta pay.
So yeah, just gonna talk through the ride a little bit because mostly it was just us, riding through the Netherlands back towards Amsterdam, and we did stop at that ferry. In fact, there was a couple of ferries that we ended up going over, but this is the one I seem to have the biggest footage from. But from there, it was just riding the roads of Holland, and I just wanted to capture a few of these. Just so much of it was like this, these tree-lined streets, and sometimes they were like this, pretty open with kind of farms and farmland on both sides, and other times they were like this, a little more grown in. I don't know, and just freaking cool. This image I think will always be an image I'll have of riding through the Netherlands in all parts. Yeah, it can get downright cathedral-like when the sun is shining, and here there's a little thicker foliage, and of course the bike lane, the ever-present bike lane that's there. Yeah, just magical roads. Oh, snuck in a windmill there. But then we started going more highway way as we got closer to Amsterdam, wanting to get there a little quick, and in fact at one point we were on the all-out highway. It just took us so long to get out of Amsterdam when we didn't do the highway. So, yep, here we are, blasting down the highway.
Here we are. So 3,200 kilometers later, we find ourselves back in Motor City.
How many?
3,200 roughly.
3,200. Not bad.
After the almost 3 weeks on the road. Cool, we did it. Made the run, so we're returning Suze's bike, and then I'm gonna return my bike to Martin, and then we're gonna have a weekend in Amsterdam.
Oh.
So it was a good morning of riding.
It's nowhere off the brakes.
A little bittersweet, in the sense that we're looking forward to dropping off the bikes and the success.
Ride that bike.
But it was such a nice ride. We realized early on that it was our last day of riding in Europe, and which is kind of a little sad in some ways. It's been so fantastic. So, but it is what it is, and we're happy to be back. And so that's where it is. Peace sign, baby. So that's it now. We have no more motorcycles. We are now just tourists in Amsterdam, which is fine. I'm wearing my Canada shirt, walking through Amsterdam, getting a lot of positive looks from people. Our plan for today is to get checked in. Sue is now, I sent her in an Uber with all the gear to our hotel. She's there now. So I'm hoofing on back there. And once we get settled in,
turn left onto Marnixstraat.
okay, we're going to head towards Leidseplein, which is a big plane in Amsterdam where they show sports on big screens, hoping to maybe catch the qualifying for the Formula One race. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to give you some context. So, Susan and I went to a pub to watch the Canada game. Sorry. More context. Which didn't turn out exactly as we hoped it would. But I mean, obviously the Team Canada played really, really well early on. They had lots of great chances, and we were pretty hopeful.
We're still proud of them.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
This is the best we've ever done, and it was really cool. We were kind of, by the way, just to how our imagery, we read about, hey, go to this Leitza plane and they have the game on big TVs, and we're kind of thinking like, what do they do in Toronto? Like, whatever. When the Raptors play, they have the Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Even they talk about City Hall having big screens. So anyway,
It's Phillips Square.
yeah, so we get to Leitza plane. There's nothing. We had this image. And it didn't happen. It was Susan and I. But a guy came and they put it on the TVs and we watched, and it was.
Now we found out the couple next to us were students from Newfoundland.
Yep. Chatted with them.
Chatted with them for a while.
They were good. So then we watched it, and well, anyway, they didn't win. But again, as Sue says, we're so proud.
We
This
had
is the
fun, yeah.
furthest they've ever gone. We're on the world stage of 16. People were keep talking about how well Canada's doing. So it was very cool. And then we just decided to do this. It was like 9:30.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
We're gonna reflect on the whole trip at some point, but for now it was just checking in on the Canada's thing and showing. And this is the weird holodeck we're in, where we're sitting right on the street of Amsterdam, and just taking it all in and just trying to take in the whole trip and the success. 3,200 kilometers, 8 countries. Trying to remember some of it.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for today.
Cheers.